welcome. It is Monday, March 10th, 2025, year of our Lord. We got another edition of Make City Make Spence. Garret Comet's here, and in tonight's episode, which won't be tonight by the time y'all check this out, we'll be talking about the men's, Detroit City FC's men's regular season USL Championship opener, which took place this past weekend. Talk about what's coming up this coming weekend, as well as in segment 2, talk about why the women's MASL W side just continues to be badasses. As always, cannot do this alone. Joining tonight, as always, first things first, the man that keeps all of this together: graphics, production, funny bits of banter, Adam Hernandez, and always the namesake behind Make City Make Spence, a man of many talents: writing, operating pizza shops, guidance counselors, being a father of all things Heat, especially in this now daylight savings time era. Sean Spence. Gentlemen, how are you both on this Monday?
Sean, yeah.
I'm fine. I don't know, man. I never know how to answer that. I am. I have moments of great joy, and I am incredibly stressed out and depressed by the state of things in the world. But situation normal, all fucked up.
Adam, what about you, man?
I concur.
Yeah.
Daylight savings time mornings can eat an entire bag, the glittery bag, especially when a day that involves, for me personally, going up to Port Huron for a family birthday thing and driving over to Redford to watch a wrestling pay-per-view and then come home at 12:45 in the morning, except I have to take 8 Mile all the way down to Chrysler because 696 fucked. Thanks, Michigan. Love you most of the time. Not then. But you know what else we love right now? The Detroit City FC men's side, which started the USL Championship season this past Saturday in warm, sunny conditions known as South Beach in Miami in the Pitbull Stadium 305. And a starting lineup which probably threw some people way the fuck off guard at around 6 o'clock Eastern. Except a few people that got wind earlier, and that was Devin Amumensa did not travel with the team this past weekend for precautionary reasons of a muscle strain. So with that, he was obviously not in Miami and not on the starting sheet. A lineup that basically, we'll say from what the looks was, for the most part, became a three in the back. So Carlos Saldana in goal, Michael Bryant, Stephen Carroll, Shane Wheat. Reese Williams started off on the right flank with Jay Chapman and Marcello Polisi central. Alex Villanueva on the left flank, Jessiel Cedeno in the number 10 type role, and Ben Morris and Darren Smith starting. A little bit of a shaky start in the beginning led to some Detroit City FC control and a eventual lead taken via Jessiel Cedeno corner, meeting the head of Michael Bryant from very close range. 1-0 to Les Rouges. Further accentuated by Miami FC going down to 10 men when Francisco Bonfiglio got sent off for 2 stud kick attempts, even though it looked like it achieved minimal damage. And then Detroit City kind of basically had a glorified training session, in my opinion, of control before some subs were made. Maury Donor came in the 65th minute, which meant Reese Williams shifted to the left. Sebastian Guenzati made his Detroit City FC debut for Jessiel Cedeno. And then in the 76th minute, we got to see how fast Atis Diop was. Spoiler, he's fast as fuck. And then the old faithful, Connor Rutz, coming in the 76th minute and bagging what was the seal the deal goal in the 87th, his second consecutive goal on an opening day, equating to the goal off the ass in Colorado Springs last year. Matt Sheldon came to see things through, but in the end, maybe we'd love a little bit more than 2-0, but for week 1, I'll definitely take a 2-0 Les Rouges win. Sean Spence, I got done with my little preface or whatever we're going to call it forward. Let's dive in.
Kind of a weird opening match because, to me, and I'm just, a dude watching at home, but to me, it looked like Sebastian Blanco, was having a hard time with the fact that the referee was a woman. He seemed extremely disrespectful toward her, and he's the veteran leader, or supposed to be, of this new look Miami side that has some actual players in it. And he drew a yellow card pretty early for dissent, where it was a routine foul call. It wasn't anything, and he just he kind of got in her face and just wouldn't shut the fuck up, basically. And she gave him a yellow. Soon after that sort of seemed to kick off their sort of ill will. Now, the whole time, City are still trying to figure things out. We did not start impressively. There was one, I think, in the first 5 or 6 minutes, there was a horrible giveaway right to Blanco, in zone 14, that he did nothing with. He took 2 touches and kicked it into Rosie. So, we looked like it was the first game of the season at that point, at the 15-minute mark or whenever it was that he had his little, mini meltdown that seemed to me to reverberate through his team. They got super chippy really early. And it wasn't like we were being physical, they seemed like they came out intending to be physical, and then somehow conceived of it in the run of play as a duel with the ref, and started really going into things where they're almost half turned looking at her to complain about the foul she's about to call, but that they're about to commit as they're committing it. You know what I'm saying? They were so involved with her that it wasn't a good look. And the yellow card was absolutely deserved. The dude was on a yellow, and then went in for a big tackle, kind of didn't the tackle didn't land, and then in frustration from the ground tried to stick, was it Michael?
Yeah, Michael. And Michael was
trying to stick Michael in the ribs, right? and I think the first time he went for it, Michael wasn't even really aware of it, but the second time, because he did it kind of twice in a row. It was kind of a kick out, in that amount of time. But in the second one, Michael was certainly aware of as it was happening, and kind of now he's looking at the ref are you seeing this? And she was, and so they were down a man. The set piece was okay, so there are so many times over our time in professional football that City will get decent set piece opportunities, but the service has not been good as a routine thing. Think about the number of corners that just something like 60-70% of the time, the service is so bad that you're well, okay, immediately the ball hasn't arrived yet. You're all Yep.
You see the flag,
right? You're oh, yeah, I overcooked it, or that's going out, whatever. So, mad kudos to Jesse L for hitting his first corner of the season that well. And the play was fairly simple. I don't know if you watched it a bunch of times like I have, but it was basically Stevie and Michael were making parallel runs at the near post. Stevie's is the closer one, where if it comes to him, he's going to need to kind of flick it on. And Michael's making the kind of pile driver run, straight at the post. Yeah. And Jesse L's corner was so good, it kind of did that thing where it makes you think you can get to it, but you really can't at all. And their first guy, instead of collapsing to help with the near post, thought he could get to it, he couldn't, and that left the entire thing open for Michael to just ram it home. Really a wonderful set piece. The timing of it was mid-season stuff. So I don't know if that's a new thing for us, if we're we've got a new focus on set pieces, or we just got really lucky the very first time. We'll see, right? if they can keep doing that, then we know it was something they're doing.
What would you say throughout the course of the day of this team, which I'm looking at some of these stats here, 91% passes completed by us today on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, not today, but on Saturday, which is something new, but a team with a ball and movement.
Yeah. It's so hard to look at the numbers and know what they mean, because like there were long stretches of the second half where we were just sharing the ball around as long as we wanted to,
Yeah.
Like we'd move forward out of sort of group boredom. Like, well, okay, we can't just literally pass the ball between the center backs for the rest of the game, so let's move forward. So those kind of games tend to breed really lopsided statistics in terms of passing numbers and things like that. Having said that, we did look pretty good, and I really thought I wasn't sure how the Polisi Chapman thing was going to work. It looked pretty decent. Chapman's range of passing is pretty spectacular. And that's a thing where where he's better. His range of passing from center midfield is better than anybody I've seen in our badge. I know there were a couple balls where he took the ball deep in a deep possession area and launched an attacking move by hitting rifling a 60-yard switch to the opposite attacking flank. That was, and the rifling part is important, because if you float that ball, okay, you did switch it, but the defense has plenty of time to everybody take 4 steps this way and kind of shift around. Now you're making them work their legs, but and that will have long-term benefits, but in the short term it's not helping really create a chance. You're just sort of switching play, and that's, but the way Jay does it, where he kind of drives through the ball and hits these line drives, it means that the ball arrives with a lot of pace, and so it takes a little more out of the winger to knock it down. But should they do so, they've got a lot of time to make something happen, because the ball has massively outpaced the switching ability of the defensive side. Really fascinating to watch. I think that was there all night against a 10-man team. So I'm really it made for a relaxing watch,
Yeah.
Especially once they had the 1-goal lead. It never felt like they were threatening once we had the lead, especially once they went down a man. It was they are putting nothing together. And it stayed that way until they brought a dude on with 70 minutes who was willing to just try to go 1-on-5. And
that near header, but that didn't hit target.
Right.
But then after that, it was all right, let's finish this game off, and we did.
Right. And then the team is so much deeper than a couple years ago, so much deeper. We're the subs at 73 minutes was it 73? Was Ates and Connor. Connor, who followed up the play and got the clinching goal, and Ates, who really looked exactly like what we were hoping for.
Even faster than I thought.
Well, it's not just the pace; it's the kind of alacrity with which he'll get a touch facing away from goal, and he reorients himself into an attacking. He gets his hips around and gets his body into shape to attack very quickly. It's kind of odd looking, almost whoa. And then he'll get the ball out, he'll do that very quickly, and then get the ball out from under his feet very quickly, and kind of just be off and running, in a way that you could see it. The defense was oh shit, they were not having a good time. Oh man, this is a whole having to deal with that when you're in the opening match with 20 minutes left. Your legs are shot anyway, and like, oh, are you serious? So I mean, it was lovely, and really we could have that closing group that came on. Looked like they wanted to win 4-0, and maybe could have if they were a little sharper. But yeah, I it's difficult to draw like serious conclusions about how good the team is based on this first performance because of the red card and because of the. But it did look like, this was a match we were going to win prior to the red card. I wasn't like, let's see how oh my God, that changed everything. The red card was kind of like, well, that made it very easy now.
Yeah.
If this game was in August, they probably do win 4-0. Sean, what do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Miami were obviously just kind of over it by the end of the match, which is, I mean, maybe they think they're going to get some, they're going to be aligned, in a way that's better for them next match, or, they think the referee had it out for them or whatever. But, misogyny hurts men too. And here's one way, right? Is when you're a terrible dickhead to the female ref, and she responds to you justly, cry more. That's what I have to say about that. Like, sorry, but stop being a dick, because that woman, I think her name's Alyssa, is an incredible ref. She's very very good.
I want to Alyssa. Sorry, just one quick thing. Alyssa Nichols, FIBA certified. She's probably going to be the best ref that either team has. Right, she's
one of the best refs we're going to see all year.
Yeah.
And they were acting like she broke into the He-Man, Women Haters Club, fuck off with that.
I'm gonna channel hockey here, and I want to ask the both of you this question. So I'll start with Sean, and then Adam after this. Then I want you to chime in with some of your take on this before we get into this weekend. You have 3 stars of the match that you could choose, whether it's starting or subs. So you go from star 3 to star number 1. Sean.
Okay. Well, number 3, I'll say Ates Diouf. Really, just exactly what you want to see from your, young, promising attacker coming on to the first match of the season. Coming on and immediately providing a new kind of vibe, and showing, that the things you hope for aren't foolish. Okay, yes, maybe it's possible to have someone who can carry the ball and create, lots of problems running out of defense, despite wearing the Spirit of Detroit badge, which apparently, we have a hard time recruiting those dudes or something. That was great. Number 2, Michael Bryant, really. Thought he was pretty solid defensively, and they didn't provide a lot of challenge once they went down a man, but you can only play the games in front of you, and I thought Michael was really good. I'm assuming that he would have been on the bench, and if Devin were good to go, that it would have been Devin and Stevie and Shane, because it's really I assume that what's going on is that the technical staff and the communications group have decided there's no advantage to giving the opponents any idea how you're lining up. So because this was not a 4-2-3-1, it just wasn't. Michael never played like a fullback. He played like a right-sided center back. So okay, now it's true that Alex plays a little deeper than Reese tends to. Those are the 2 guys who are tasked with keeping the width. and you would typically call them the wingbacks. Although Reese often is playing so advanced that you'd say he's a winger. So it's it's kind of a it's a 3-5-2 that's kind of where you took all the pieces and kind of rotated it like 10 degrees to the left, kind of scooch the right sided guys up and the left sided guys back. That's pretty much the shape, and it's been the shape, so this is not surprising. And the number one guy for me was Jesse L. I thought he looked like a number 10. He, and he didn't look naive and kiddish. He didn't keep the ball. He didn't hold the ball two beats too long and get swarmed. He didn't, dribble into blind alleys and give up the ball where if he's playing with his head up, he can see he's accomplishing nothing. Like he played as a as a central attacking player who played within himself and within his limitations and showed that he's got some juice there. He set up a couple other chances, a couple other shots, in the early going, especially looked pretty sharp. And I think he kind of suffered from our control over his amount of touches, basically. He gets more touches when we're really pressing to score. And once we were up a goal and a man, we weren't pressing to score that hard. So he was kind of, it made him less central to what we were doing. But I mean, in terms of a performance that I think bodes really, really well for the season upcoming, getting that from Jesse L, that is the most above baseline performance to me. Was what Jesse L put together. Was he the best player? If you do match ratings through some kind of thing, I think probably Jay would be the guy who's the highest rated.
Michael was highest on FOTMob.
Yeah, but that's that's not a real algorithm. That's just
goals and when you account everything there.
Right. But I'm thinking about an OBV type of stat, on ball value, which kind of pulls a lot of things in, and is too complex to really understand. I think that you probably see okay, well, Chapman was way up there, because he's better than I thought, and I thought he was pretty good. So, yeah, Marcelo, I don't know, or Marcello, sorry, I'm interested to see, when I think about it, we need somebody who stays at home a little more than Jay seems to want to. And I don't let's not really lie. So who would you pair? If you put Lai and Jay together, would they work together? I mean, hopefully they will. But that's two guys in a double pivot who really want to run around a lot. I don't know how well that works. Maybe it's great, and my ideas of how that should work are, either wrong or outdated. But we'll see.
Adam, your 3 stars, starting with third, and then after that, any else you want to chime on the match?
I'm just gonna kind of mix my feelings on the match and into my 3 stars here. Marcello, just to kind of continue to, piggyback off of what Sean was saying, he's going to be my third. And I'm giving him my third just because there's going to be a lot of eyes on the central midfield this season and moving forward, just because of, Maxi not being there anymore. And I'm not saying that Marcello is replacing Maxi, so to speak. I thought he did a good job, though, a very serviceable job, moving into that position when there are going to be a lot of eyes on it. And you could mention that too about Jay Chapman and whatever, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just gonna look at Polisi this week, though, just because, like I said, there is, there's going to be a lot of attention paid to the central midfield. And I don't think that there was a lot of people kind of awestruck by Polisi coming in to this club. And hopefully Saturday kind of, maybe opened up a little bit more eyes to, what this guy can do. So moving forward. So again, very, very encouraging start for him at a spot that is going to get a lot of attention this season. Yeah. Number 2, I'm going to go with Jaciel Cedeno. I thought he did a good job. Like you're saying, Sean, he looked good as a 10. Also, it is so refreshing to finally be on the positive end of a corner. Because how many times last year were we on the losing end of a corner? Garret was at Birmingham at home last year.
Twice. Twice in a couple of minutes.
I think I was sitting with you guys on one of them.
Were you at the Birmingham match, Sean?
Was that at the Birmingham one? I don't think. Maybe.
I don't remember.
I try to forget about that match because I was pissed.
Well, I apologize for reminding you again, Garret. But yeah, it was so nice to be on the positive end of a corner. And I mean, just generally speaking, I thought he did a great job overall as well. Just again to continue to piggyback off of Sean's comments on him. And then my first star is going to be Michael Bryant. One thing about Michael, the header was great. Again, great service from Jaciel. Great finish by Michael Bryant. One thing I did notice with that red card, and I will say this because I think Michael Bryant is very, very good at baiting guys into doing something fucking stupid.
I was gonna get to that. That's exactly right. I think he absolutely goaded that dude into
And it reminded me, Sean, of what he did to Philip Goodrum last year against Lou City. He was baiting Philip Goodrum all game. Then finally, Philip Goodrum finally snapped and drew a stupid penalty and got himself a red. And all of a sudden, Lou City was down for the rest of the match because of a key player's stupid decision. I believe that Michael Bryant probably baited him into doing something, and lo and behold, Miami goes down a man, and Detroit has the man advantage for the rest of the night. And from there on out, there was no chance for Miami to get back into that match. It was over right there. And Detroit City, again, thanks to Michael's game winner and his presumed baiting of that player, Detroit comes away with 3 points. So
I'm gonna go defense heavy for my 3 stars. Number 3 for me is Shane Wheat.
Mm-hmm.
He was great. I feel like I could talk about a lot of different guys. Go ahead.
I think what's going to be really refreshing is that we talked about Shane Wheat replacing Matt Lewis, but as this squad now, I like that. Like we had Devin Almomensa last year. I think Devin Almomensa being out for a game like this, and even before, would have had us in a fucking night terror sweats. And now to be able to have this composition, and that even includes like Morey coming on and Reese being able to play either flank. There's room for us to breathe. There's room for us. There's guys to not run themselves into the ground. I'm intrigued at that possibility. And I think Shane also allowed Stephen Carroll to do some of the things that we have seen Stephen Carroll shine over the years, aka play the ball from the back to a pinch perfect thing on there. We got to see more of that rather than they trying to play through the back. It's like, and I think there's composure in that line, which is really great. And I think it allows people to breathe in there. I'm going to go Michael Bryant, number 2, because there's something that's that type of attitude. We talk about this, Adam, in our other endeavors of teams playing like their coach in other sports. And we talk about with Danny Dichio's side here, there's that mentality, there's that aggression, there's that, intent. And I think Michael Bryant, the examples that both of you were talking about, is that guy to carry out that mindset onto the field, while also also being confident in his play on the field a little bit too. He had the first goal. He almost had a second one.
Yeah.
Like finishing off a drive in there too. And if he is going and if he's playing like that, and if you get 3, 4, or 5 goals from him from a season like that, that's a fucking game changer in position standings over the course of a 30-game season and a 7-month campaign. And number one for me is Jesse Cedeno. You guys talked about how refreshing it was to have somebody taking corners and in shots. How refreshing is it to have somebody run out of the fence and make an inch perfect pass out? Like, I'm like, he's not going to play that ball. He just fucking played that ball. Holy shit. And it was on. Or, like running at it and thinking, where am I, like seeing the game. This is going to be like a new signing. Adam, I know you were really, really happy when he joined last year. We've talked about this in multiple of our things. And I think he's gotten time to get comfortable. He's in a role that I think he's going to relish in. He's really good with both feet. He likes to play with both feet. Yeah. I'm excited, boys. I really am.
I think it's interesting that like Jesse L was sort of like Alex and Jesse L are sort of similar profiles when they came to us, in that they were known quantities in the USL Championship, but they were young guys who everyone thought had potential, but nobody had quite unlocked it. And if we can get, if we can be the team that specializes in taking the talented guys who haven't quite found their footing and helping them find their footing, that's a really valuable thing to be able to do. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in there, but I really liked what I saw. I thought that in general, this is a very, football meta setup that we've got going right now. The sort of the looseness of the attack and the way that the interior five, because it's basically like you can almost picture the team shape as like a bowl that is the wing backs and the center backs. And then held inside that bowl is like, a little pentagon of dudes who can sometimes are a pentagon, sometimes are like an X, sometimes are something else, and it really there's so much freedom for those attacking players to try things, to go to switch sides or combine right around the box with each other in tight spaces. It's really refreshing, and it looked pretty great. Now, while it didn't create a huge number of chances while the teams were level, you could see where okay, well, it's still early. The offenses aren't there. You're not gonna create a 4-pass combination through the middle of the pitch to score a goal at this point in this season. If you do, it's because the opponent has shat themselves at some point and made it easy. So I don't know. I'm very encouraged by what we saw, and I think that we have a pile of players who can work within the system. And it's a squad game. It's a long season, and I hope we can compete on all fronts, like right through the all the cups, yeah.
So match day 1, there were 3 teams in the Eastern Conference that won. Detroit City, one of the 3. They're the one tops in the Eastern Conference. A match day that saw Lexington 2, Hartford 0. Our matchup, North Carolina FC and Pittsburgh Riverhounds, basically trading Benny Hill style fuck ups. 1-1 the match there. If you're not sure, go check out the YouTube highlights of that match. Charleston Battery, Louisville City. Charleston 1, Louisville 2. My opinion for the shock up result of the weekend, Birmingham Legion 1, Loudoun United 3. Birmingham having scored 2 minutes in. San Antonio 1-0 over Monterey Bay. We're gonna I'm not gonna talk about this one yet because that'll be the lead into what we have this weekend. Phoenix Rising 0, Tulsa 1, Orange County 4, Oakland Roots 2, Sacramento Republic 2, New Mexico United 1, Las Vegas Lights 1, Tampa Bay Rowdies 0, and El Paso Locomotive 2, Colorado Springs Switchbacks 2. Colorado Springs Switchbacks is the team we are going to be playing this coming Saturday, March 15th. 364 days since the last time we were at Colorado Springs, opening up our 2024 campaign, Switchbacks 22, with the said Connor Rutz off the ass goal to win it. 2 times Detroit City FC has gone to Colorado Springs. Both times they've come out 2-1 winners. Sean, I watched the first half of El Paso in Colorado Springs, and from what I saw of what Locomotive were trying to do, it gave me some hope as if our game plan can succeed. I don't know how much of what you saw on this matchup, but how you're feeling about this matchup as we're 5 days away from it.
I mean, it's our success notwithstanding at Colorado Springs, it is a tough place to play because you're at altitude, and they have traditionally built a team around a superstar striker, right? They had Rolando Damas last year. Who's the guy they had the year before that they sold?
Haji Berry.
Well, no, that was a couple years ago. They had Romario Williams, I think, before that.
This is the way they've traditionally built their team, and they're apparently moving away from that because they didn't really replace Rolando Damas, which leaves us with the team that they were kind of at the end of last year, which was won the USL Championship playoffs. We should remember. Which is a team that creates most of its chances out of defensive pressure, and creating turnovers. So, how do we match up with that? I think that if everybody plays well, that we'll be able to handle their pressure. The way we line up is difficult to press. It's one of the big advantages of a 3 center back system is you kind of by increasing the number of lanes that have to be covered by 50%, you demand a lot more resources to do anything like at the very highest level, at the very first layer there, I like our chances to handle that well. I don't really have a handle on how well they're playing right now. I know they don't have their talismanic defensive midfielder anymore. I'm forgetting the guy's name. I think we've got a great chance to get some points here, but it's early in the season and everything's still sorting itself out. We don't really know how good this team is. This team doesn't know how good they are. Like, nobody knows. And we're all in the process of kind of watching the sculptor removing the things that aren't the team and getting to the team. But at this point, I'd say that at least we should be able to make it difficult for Colorado to score against us, and hopefully the kind of experienced midfielders we brought in will be able to keep the ball moving and stay a step ahead of the pressure. And my main concern is that we get caught in the trap that has traditionally caused us lots of problems, which is having our build-up completely shut off, where we just struggle to move the ball fully into the attacking zone. That was most of our kind of offensive trouble in 2023, was that we just couldn't get the ball into attacking positions a lot of the time. And I worry that with the shape we're playing, that without really top-notch performances out of those guys in the center of midfield, that we could get caught in that same trap again.
So when the dust settles, 6 o'clock Eastern kickoff, ESPN Plus, TV 50 for Metro Detroit, CBSDetroits.com's website. Both of you, how do you think the scoreline is going to be? Who do you think gets them?
You want to go first, Adam?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm going to go 2-1 City, and I'm going to go. I think I went Maury Donor and Darren Smith last week.
Yep, and Donor came on, and Donor came off the bench.
Donor came on.
Really
I'm gonna go with
I'm
gonna go with Ben Morris, and I'm gonna go with Ben Morris and Darren Smith. Why not?
Wow,
you're going double up top. Nice.
Do you remember what I said? I don't remember. I mean, I know I said 2-0, but I don't remember who the goal scorers were. I was racking my brain the whole time during the game. Like, who did I say?
Did you say you said a center back? I feel like. Did you say Steven or did you say Mike?
Oh, I think I probably said Steven. Yeah, I don't remember. I was like, after Connor scored, I'm like, did I say Michael and Connor? Like, I was trying to convince myself that I was just absolutely right. I'm like, okay, I'm probably not. If I can't remember for sure, I probably didn't.
So, for our audience that's going to be checking this out on YouTube in the video forums, for anyone that remembered what we said last week, please drop it in the comment section.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't remember, Garrett.
Dude, I'm getting older, man. Fuck off.
I figured that you were going to just spit it back in my face as soon as I said, like, I don't remember. You'd be like, well, you said this.
I should, but I'm becoming more. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Look, welcome to the rest of us. Yeah, I like the idea of 2-1. That we've kind of settled on 2-1. I fear that we're going to lose 2-1. And I think that it's going to be a close game, but it did take us 15-20 minutes to figure out how not to turn the ball over a lot. And if we do that against these guys, they'll be up 2-0. And, we'll be like, okay, now we got to do what? And that's what worries me a little bit is that, if we don't get A+ performances, if it takes them 15 minutes to kind of get into the flow of the game and kind of figure out, where the other team is trying to pressure them from, like that's a lot of it is kind of everything's a surprise. I worry that we could fall behind very quickly and then spend the rest of the match sort of dominating the ball, but not in a way that matters. So I don't know. That's my prediction is that we lose 2-1.
Who's your goal scorer?
Jesse Alcedeno.
Oh, nice.
I'm taking a look at the forecast because 2.5 years. Yeah,
it's going to be nice here. It's going to be like 65 degrees in Detroit. It's going to be like blizzarding in Colorado Springs.
And then when they return on the 22nd, it's going to be probably like
it's going to be blizzarding. Yeah, like it's a nice storm. Sorry, go ahead.
High during the day of 43 in Colorado Springs with north to northeast winds at 10 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour. Probably by the time it gets to kickoff, somewhere going to be in the upper 30s because it gets down to 24. Because that'll be if it's 6 o'clock here, it'll be 3 or 4 o'clock in Colorado for kickoff because I think Mountain Time, so it should be 4 o'clock.
So you're going to get like low sun, hard shadows. It's going to be like sleeves and gloves weather, like yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for. Let's see the 15th. Yeah, it's literally going to be 65 degrees here.
I'm going to go. Colorado Springs 1.
Detroit City 6. Wow!
I mean, no, I'm not doing the Jaime Ventura 4-goal winning prediction.
Well, hurry up and pick something, Garrett. The game's going to be over by the time you get to give out the score.
Detroit City FC 3.
Yeah, I feel our audience aging right now.
Ben Morris, Darren Smith, and Reese Williams.
Wow, it's just all strikers in the house getting tipsy. Fantastic.
6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, March 15th. CW TV Detroit 50, ESPN Plus, CBS Detroit's website. If you're a state of Michigan resident, I'm going to have this match on my phone because I'll be at Thunder Pistons. Sweet tickets. Shout out to my buddy for winning those tickets at work. And yeah, be safe to anyone going out on the St. Patrick's Day weekend celebrations. Please don't drive, you fucking assholes, if you're going out. With that said,
Garrett was going to say Jordan Amadeus Smith. That's the third scorer. Just so you go all strikers.
Yeah, off the bench. Yeah.
Off the bench.
From our imaginations onto the page. Fantastic.
I mean, let's ready to roll into our second segment tonight.
Let's do it.
Detroit City FC's women's MASL W side, which has been a beacon of dominance, of awesomeness. On the club website and in all of our hearts and in all of our minds, we were under the illusion that game number 9 of the MASL W regular season was going to be Saturday, March 8th in Portage against Kalamazoo United. So it comes as a shock on Friday afternoon. It comes on that, and apparently that on Kalamazoo's website is learned that the match was Friday, March 7th. And we learned that at about, 1 o'clock Friday afternoon when the club put out a thing that says, hey, it's match day today and we got to go to Portage. And apparently, as you looked at the team sheet for this Detroit City MASL W side, maybe influx too. Goalkeeper Gabby Shriver was listed as a forward. I haven't watched any of the match because I know the Kalamazoo tends to put the streams on a little bit later. But from what we know, the club, Detroit City, did fall behind at one point. I think it was 3-1. However, like what we saw in the second matchup at Iowa against the Demon Hawks, this team showed their resilience, showed their ways to fight back. Won 6-3 to go 9-0, and maybe the best addition tweet Detroit City FC and their social medias will do, because 6 + 3 = 9. That whatever. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it was pretty dope. The last regular season game of this MASLW season is this Saturday in Crown Point, Indiana, I believe.
Crown Point. Crown Point. It's near the region there. It's like, it's like toward Gary from South Bend is Crown Point.
In Buccaneer Arena at Crown Point High School, and taking on an 0-7 Indiana United team. That recent matchup was yesterday, losing 17-5 to the Iowa Demon Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to curse the women by assuming they're going to win, but I mean, I do assume they're going to win that match.
They're 17 goals away from getting 100. Can they do it in the final match?
I mean, they could. They really could. If Iowa can put up that many goals against this Indiana team, then surely we can. Whether we want to is another question. It's entirely possible that we're going to kind of go easy. The thing that is weird about that match on Friday was that it was really it was kind of a slightly rotated team. At least the starters were rotated. So no Hannah Crum starting, no Shannon McCarthy starting, no Tatiana Mason. I think that they really tried to give a little more, to balance the playing time out for the women that haven't gotten as much. But this team is so deep and, kind of roared past them in the second half. to win 6-3. And the question now is this next match the end of the season for them? We don't really know. There's supposed to be playoffs, like national playoffs, after the regular season, but the reality of those is being kind of called into question because I think the Iowa Demon Hawks, they were announced briefly as the
Demon Hawks,
as the place, as the host, and then kind of,
they've been playing now, but it seems like their field quality has come into question.
Yeah, it's not great. We could all see the duct tape on the stream. But a place that you can play. I mean, I don't think it's dangerous. It's just kind of not, the touch is not
goalkeeper.
Great. So yeah.
Sorry.
They just realized what you were saying. They're like what? Goalkeeper. Yeah. He was really
There's Spence, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So I don't know whether we're going to have playoffs. I really hope we do because I think that our women deserve to win that thing and take a big trophy and stick it in our cabinet. But if not, this is a great run in for the W League season, which is just around the corner. In fact, I think they're starting practice kind of now. They're starting to get together early now. Which involves, some of the women from this team moving right into practicing with the W League group. So
9-0, 83 goals scored, 23 goals allowed.
Yep.
Second fewest goals allowed amongst all the teams in MASL W. Second most goals scored behind Chihuahua Savage. We've already talked about their exploits a couple of episodes ago. So my final question to the two of you in here, before we wrap up: will this team get to 100? Will this team be at 100 goals by the time Saturday's match ends for the season in this final match?
So 17 or more would get them to 100 goals.
Yep, they're at 83 right now.
What do you think, Adam?
No. I think they're kind of on cruise control right now. I don't think they do it. You know what? Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they even know that how close they are to 100.
Right. I mean,
I bet they.
Yeah. Somebody will say something to them, but
I think that's so sicko like Garret knows.
Well, I also think that
I looked at the schedule at work. That's a level of sickness on the MASL W site.
Right. Well, I feel like if we have a fluky thing where we just kind of score with every shot in the first half and we're up 13-0 at halftime, maybe we try to get 17 goals just because it's right there. But I think generally our women have shown a tendency to make it clear that they're going to win and then kind of they don't hold your head down while they're kicking you. They just sort of they and so I doubt we do it. I don't think we're going to go for that. Now I think if we decide that's something we want, I think they will score that many goals. I think it's entirely within their power to do so. I think they can kind of name their number if they want to go against Indiana and say, okay, let's try to get 20. We've seen 20 before, let's get 20. But I don't think they will. I think that they will properly consider that to be a little bit cruel for a team that has not come close to getting a point yet.
For those that are wondering, we scored 15 and 16 in our two matchups against Wazaflow last year, which has been our indoor high so far amongst the first two seasons. So 17 would be, in fact, a new high. Earlier two meetings against Indiana United FC was 12-4 on February 1st and 10-1 on February 8th. Both those matches were at Detroit City Fieldhouse. So I believe the kickoff is 7 p.m. on this coming Saturday. I don't have the dates and times in front of me on there.
It could change 5 times between now and then. So,
right.
Or the day of. I mean, just anything's possible. And I don't even know if the match is going to be streamed or not. Just fun fuck it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to say, what's more likely? Detroit City's women score 17 or they get another clean sheet?
Yes.
I'm gonna do a score prediction, 17-3.
Well, they kick that late field goal to, get the full 2 touchdown spread again.
Somebody's parlay or whatever just got screwed up.
They take odds on MASL W.
Yeah,
I mean,
please tell me there's no line on MASL W matches.
Please get help. Please get help if you're putting money on MASL matches.
Yeah, there's some like sickos like in Croatia listening to us trying to get an edge.
Well, if they're not listening to this, they're going to be talking about how shit Steven Georgioukai or Steven Junshai was when they played at what Croatian club were they at?
Yeah, I'm sure he's on the tip of every tongue there. Like, that guy was shit.
God. Facebook translate that. For if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Also, one quick honorable mention for Detroit City content: the Matt Sheldon Become Elite channel. Go check out the players golfing in Tucson while they were in preseason, the scramble, especially for the Stephen Carroll and Connor Rutz banter session. Highly recommend.
Oh, outstanding.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we sat and watched that all after that post match. It was after the game on Saturday. It was hilarious. But yeah, I believe that is it on there. Does gents, any of you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up tonight?
No, I mean it's all arrows are up right now for City on the field. The women are storming, heaven and intent to at least ask hard questions. While the guys, that was a promising beginning for a team that's, had its midfield, upended in a way that we haven't seen since we've been pros, really, So, yeah, let's keep this vibe going.
Damn right. Adam, what about you, bud?
If you want to freeze your ass off, and partake in a Detroit City FC supporter tradition. Head on down to the St. Patrick's Day Parade this coming Sunday. And I believe everybody's going to be starting to gather around 8 o'clock in the morning. And you've got to get down there early because if you want to partake, if you want to march with supporters and people from the club, you got to get down there early because they start to close things down for the parade route. So it's a tradition
for that on Sunday.
Right.
It's looking like it might actually be kind of nice.
It's supposed to be nice, but it will inexplicably be inhumanly cold somehow. It's like it's just the natural order of things is that the St. Patty's Day Parade, you are cold to your bones, and that's just how it is.
Even if it's like 60 degrees on the east side of Detroit or, in Redford and downriver, it's going to be like 20, 30 degrees with, wind chills in the teens right over Michigan Avenue in Corktown. So, like I said, it's a tradition. It's there's a lot of drinking.
What's up, Rasan? Sorry.
Head on down and like I said, generally speaking, it's a good time. But yeah, you probably will freeze your ass off, which isn't the most glowing endorsement of the parade. But like I said, it's tradition.
Right. If you're under, say, 29 and you don't have to take care of small people, this is something you should get to. Get out there.
My small people before.
Yeah.
And
I'm just saying, I understand if you've got small people to deal with.
You are angel amongst gentlemen, Adam.
But I probably won't be bringing them this year.
He's like, hell no, Dad. I'm always freezing.
I mean, it's almost like a rite of passage too for any new City supporter to partake in the parade. So Come on down.
You just show up.
Yep. Earn your stripes, and you never have to do it again after that. So.
And anybody that's going hard and partaking, please be responsible. Do not drive. Just take care of yourselves and each other. With that all being said, gentlemen, Sean, where can folks find you on the World Wide Web? Where should they send cat pics to in general?
I am, as always, Shield Chafing, which is SEYLD, SEEAFING on, Twitter and Blue Sky and email and all that shit. Yeah, cat pics always welcome. Little gifs or memes about cats, yes, always welcome. Nothing about the real world, please. I know.
Adam, what about you, buddy?
Hold on, I'm sending cat pics to Sean.
Nice.
Yes. Meow.
All right, just sent.
And good.
TMS the next Adam. TMS the next
right.
Adam on any major social media platform.
Kim Comets on all social platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Blue Sky, Detroit.themajorsports.com for all of your Majors Detroit content, whether it's Make City Make Sense, Channel 451, Detroit City Sportscast. Go on.
One more big housekeeping announcement. Make City Make Spence will have its own feed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'll continue to post the Make City Make Spence episodes on the Detroit City Sportscast feed for the next few ones, but eventually I'll post on both from now, but just to kind of get everybody used to it, I'll still post on the Detroit City Sportscast feed, but then eventually I will have Make City Make Spence on its own feed, just so if you just want to get Make City Make Spence content, you know where to go and get it. So yeah,
look at how far we've gone in a year, gents.
God help you.
It was beyond time to have it get its own feed. So, but yeah. I wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. And like I said, just type in Make City Make Spence on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and it'll pop right up. I'm pretty sure that's the only podcast on those platforms that has that name. So subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and again, bump it up in that algorithm.
Yep, indeed. Also, and hit that subscribe on the YouTube at the Majors TV for that. Be on the lookout also too for DetroitTheMajorSports.com because we'll eventually get some more written content coming in with Detroit City stuff as women's season transitions from indoor to outdoor, and as this men's season continues onward. A lot of fun times here, folks. And I think I've covered all the orders of housekeeping that have been needed to take care of. So for Adam Hernandez, for Sean Spence, the namesake of Make City Make Spence, and Garret Comets here, thank you all for checking out another episode of Make City Make Spence for the Majors Detroit. We'll be dropping more content and for more Detroit City FC content, like I said, Detroit.themajorsports.com for all your needs. Till next time, see ya!